Okay, before this video starts, I'm yapping about the story of Space Marine 2, so I'll put a timestamp to skip to as it contains spoilers for the start of the game as well, just in case you guys didn't want to know, but I hope you guys enjoy the video anyway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here, Space Marine 2. Over the past few months we've seen a lot of footage for this game, and can I just say I felt nothing but hype all the way through. It looked absolutely insane. It's an action-packed third-person shooter hack and slash horde-based game where you fight as Ultramarines, who among other chapters go through a grueling ordeal of organ implants, bone restructuring and intense psychological conditioning to become super soldiers that are more than equipped to take on the Tyranids, often regarded as a hideous alien race that carries the will of the hive mind, which is to devour anything and everything non-Tyranid. Not to mention the Thousand Suns, which will apparently change the pace of the game since they are considered to be of equal footing against the Ultramarines. The gameplay reminds me a bit of World War Z, the endless waves of enemies coming at you, and even Exoprimal, another great horde game which is a bit more close quarters with an even distribution of ranged and melee combat. This even took me all the way back to 2005 Spartan Total Warrior. This was a super underrated game I feel, and way ahead of its time. It's another hack and slash with loads of different weapons, moves and abilities to make you literally unstoppable. And before I go too off topic, let me stop there. Point is, it's a great game. If you haven't tried it, please do. That's if you can find a copy.
Halt! In the name of the Emperor!
But anyway, back to Space Marine. Now going into this, I had no knowledge of Warhammer. I am clueless on the 40,000 universe up until a few weeks ago where I started to watch some videos, read a little on the lore, the events of the first game. I'm still a new blood basically, so forgive me, but it's very interesting. You see, Lieutenant Titus, previously captain, has been gone for some time after being accused of heresy, a term where you're basically a traitor to the Imperium. He was kept in stasis and tortured for many years until he was found by the Grey Knights. Considered the strongest physically and mentally, they are the purest of Space Marines. Titus then joined the Death Watch with the title Black Shield Nullus, a different chapter containing other veteran Space Marines that culminate a powerful team of alien killers. Without any contact from his old comrades, he felt shame that he was no longer worthy of the Ultramarines, so he seemed accepting of this new chapter. During a mission to secure Kadaku, the jungle world infested with Tyranids, Titus is seriously wounded and has to undergo Primaris Rubicon, which is basically the procedure to becoming a Space Marine, you know, the organ and bone surgery, and found himself back in the Ultramarine chapter, which is how we came about Space Marine 2. I hope this gives you guys a little perspective on the story, but let's see what the gameplay is saying. I honestly don't know where to begin. The gameplay is what drew me to this game, and it's everything I could ask for. Just intense, brutal combat, fighting hundreds of Tyranids through a mix of ranged and melee sequences. The first mission you do is of course the tutorial. You're learning the mechanics, how to fight close range and at long range. The game looks great, by the way. I haven't had any performance issues or crashes after 3 hours playing. I did notice one little minor glitch with a piece of broom-like foliage suspended in the air, but that was it. The tutorial introduces you to a few different enemy types and how to deal with them, and most importantly, how to dodge and parry. I wouldn't consider this game a steep learning curve. I'm on PlayStation and the controls aren't too hard to master. I think they're mapped well, but I'll be honest, I was getting absolutely demolished by the Tyranid warriors. The Hormagaunts and Termagaunts are almost insignificant to a Space Marine, you know, the little cannon fodder enemies, but when they're grouped up with the Tyranid warrior, they can be quite devastating. You see, certain Tyranids like the warriors have a stronger connection to the will of the hive mind. They're synaptic, and can therefore direct their aggression of smaller Tyranids to an Ultramarine. So essentially speaking, strength in numbers, and if a group is led by a warrior, missing a dodge and parry will punish you heavily. However, slaying one makes the rest of them fall. Whilst it's fun to keep hacking away and slashing these guys, you really have to remember to dodge and parry to maintain that flow. The warriors especially pack a bit of a punch, so you can easily be stumbled and it can be a little hard to recover. Ammo shouldn't be abused either since it depletes relatively quickly, so you need to maintain it by getting stuck in and meleeing where possible. Kinda like shooting to thin the herd, then slicing them up to finish them off, or challenge larger enemies. There's 4 difficulties to choose from, and I went with normal, not too hard, not too easy either. The more you increase the difficulty, the more aggressive enemies are. Making mistakes proves more costly, so it depends how you feel really. If you already have experience with Warhammer, i.e. the first game, you may go for the harder route. Not to worry though, after you complete your first mission, you'll be able to change the difficulty at the Battle Barge, your main base of operations, where you can set course for a new mission and make changes to your Space Marine. Once you get to this point, you can then invite friends normally or by invite code if you're cross-playing. I was actually sent some news on this the other day and I was shocked. I was like, no!
No!
Then he was like, you didn't read it properly, did you? No, I didn't. All I saw was no crossplay, which isn't entirely true. Consoles and PC can still play with each other, but only through the campaign and co-op mode. Not Eternal War for balancing issues. As a console player, I wouldn't have minded. I think we would have been fine. Maybe. But it's alright, PC players might have cooked us in PvP, but as long as I can experience the other two modes with friends, I'm fine. But anyway, you'll get access to a terminal to make changes to your war gear. The primary, secondary and melee weapons you find during missions will be unlocked here, and you can set any item to active so it's equipped on your next venture. It's a great option if you're a bit picky or missed a weapon during a mission, so you can try it on your next run, and maybe see if it fits your playstyle. Maybe you prefer rapid strikes with the combat knife, or motorized action with the chainsword. And a great little detail is they explain the meaning behind each stat. Most of them are self-explanatory, but it helped me understand the premise of cleave potential, so little things like that are much appreciated. As Titus has a new squad, each marine has their own special ability that can help when faced with an overwhelming force in battle. Characterized as improvements to durability, crowd control, awareness and damage, pairing this at the right time with friends can make for some really good offensive and defensive potential. As of making this video, I haven't tried it with friends yet. They're on Steam and having some trouble accessing the game at the moment, but the bots are surprisingly good, all things considered. They've saved me a couple times when I got overwhelmed, so playing solo for now is doable, although it can still feel rather lonely. Just an update on this, I did manage to play with a friend in the end. It was a smooth joining process, no issue, and one thing I was curious to see is how resources are distributed. It appears mainly health items are shared among the platoon. Picking up one does not grant it for everyone, same with heavy weapons, so with health you may have to pay more attention and search around a little bit so everyone can stay healthy. If co-op does have matchmaking, I'm not sure how that will go, as some people may abuse it and be greedy. With friends it should be fine though, just gotta call out if you're low. Generally speaking, it might be easier for everyone to have their own pickups when matchmaking with randoms for peace of mind, but I guess we'll see what happens. And whilst the gameplay trailer showed a lot, I'm still experiencing loads of different executions. Fans of Warhammer already know Titus is a badass, but bro, the way he kills some of these Tyranids is insane. I mean, given the horrible procedure Space Marines go through to obtain immense strength, definitely shows. These guys tower over regular infantry at 7 foot tall, I believe. Not incredibly tall, but they still appear much larger in combat, carrying a heavy amount of armor. And the fact that they can still move at a decent speed while slicing up aliens makes them a force to be reckoned with, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, Mugbe.
Obviously it's still early days, I haven't touched the co-op or PvP just yet, as they did say it might spoil the campaign, so once I've finished the story and played the other modes, I'll try and make another video on this to speak on the game at its fullest. But for now I'm liking it and I'm hoping for a solid run all the way through. It seems to be getting a lot of positive feedback on social media as well. Now I'm aware that Black Myth Wukong got the same feedback for this, the invisible walls. It's present in Space Marine and quite common. Don't get me wrong, it's not a major problem, just a little hindrance, as the areas I've seen so far have multiple routes and the invisible walls make it harder to judge what's accessible sometimes. That, and I couldn't really get a feel for the music, almost like it's monotone, you know, like there's not much going on. Unless it's just my ears, I don't know. I might have to adjust the sound settings so the background music can be heard more, then see, or just use Spotify for some heavy metal or something. But hey, it's a pretty penny. I did spend a little extra for early access, and games aren't cheap in general, so I can see why a lot of players are waiting till Monday and waiting for other reviews. If you're already a Warhammer fan, I see this as a no-brainer. You probably got it already, but if you're not and you're new to this world, I can see why you may be hesitant. I took a gamble, as I rarely pre-order, but the gameplay did it for me. From the trailers, the constant news about it, it was put together really well. I'm glazing like crazy here, but I love hack and slash games, and whilst my opinion could change by the time I beat it and do the other content, I think Warhammer has hit the nail on the head. They've done a good job. So if this is your sort of vibe, hack and slash, brutal combos, executions, hordes of enemies, I think you'll like this game a lot. But that's it from me. If any of you are already playing, waiting in anticipation, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Dre, take care and see you next time.